I go to Skidmore College, and I just did the spring 2016 semester in Bolivia. I am studying Spanish and anthropology at Skidmore, so I was looking for a program that was in Latin America and did kind of anthropology type studies with social sciences and cultural studies and things like that. And I also was really drawn to SIT's independent research aspect of the program, so that's kind of how I ended up there. I felt like it was totally the perfect program for me. My host family especially was just immediately really, really great for me. There were 3 daughters living in the house, and one older one that didn't live at home anymore, but the 3 that lived there were all around my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older, but they were really great in terms of introducing me to their friends and kind of opening up like a social life for me with local Bolivians, which was nice. And we have a lot of the same interests. We would play music together and stuff with my host, and I spent a lot of time with them, ate meals with them and everything. So I spent a lot of time in the house. And then the program as a whole, in terms of the academics and everything, also I felt like was a really good fit for me. Heidi, the director, and Noemi, the assistant director, were both really, really wonderful resources academically and kind of just personally and emotionally and everything. So I felt that the whole group kind of had like a really nice kind of family feeling about it, with just like all of us spending a lot of time together, and the group being, all the students from the States, and going on the excursions and everything, and spending a lot of time with the other students, I think was really well facilitated by the directors, as well as kind of, how it played into our academics with the very interesting different professors, or like any Bolivians in different areas, academia or social justice, or kind of from all over the place that would come and do guest lectures with us, or go places with us on excursions and everything. So those all tied in really nicely also to kind of the group experience. My independent study project, my ISP, was short documentary film that I shot and directed and edited and everything during that period, and it was in La Paz, which is a city we had visited already, but not the city where the program is located. So it was just a different feeling, which was nice, and I almost didn't want to go because I didn't want to leave my host family, but then I thought it would be nice to try something different. So I lived in La Paz, and I was working on basically just a broad general study of contemporary urban feminist movements in Bolivia, so different organizations that are working on women's rights issues or reproductive rights kind of more generally. So I did a lot of interviews with women from different nonprofit organizations or branches of the government or academic institutions, and just kind of talk to them about their different perspectives on the women's rights movements, and also kind of some that were more geared towards social justice and not as organized, but more just on the ground gathering of women in a more social setting. So yeah, I made a short documentary about that, and that also was just an incredible part of my experience. I especially love that Bolivia specifically has a full-time, or I guess he's part-time now, but he's a staff person who's a Bolivian filmmaker, Ismael. So he used to be a co-director with our current director, Heidi, but he now works with video students, and he was my advisor for my ISP, and also generally I had a lot of kind of independent meetings with him. It sort of felt like an independent study in documentary film, because I would just go to his house and talk to him about my ideas and about the software I wanted to use, and he just kind of guided me through the whole process. So that was a huge resource for me, specifically doing video, and a couple other students who did videos as well. So I learned a lot specifically with that, and it got me really interested in documentary film in general for the future. But well, I had actually traveled a lot before I did SIT. I did a gap year before I went to college and traveled a lot by myself. So I was really conscious of kind of how to like travel in a culturally sensitive but also like intensive enough way that will really introduce you to a culture in like a way that's respectful to the local people, but also really immerses you in the environment, and so you really feel like you can be at home there and everything. So that's really what I feel like SIT does, especially, which I think can be especially hard for a study abroad program, because students are coming from their institutions in the States, and they have their idea of their academics and their social life and everything, and so it can be a difficult adjustment. And sometimes, unfortunately, like with my friends who have done other programs, it sounds like you can often have like a very similar social and academic experience, just kind of placed in another country. And I was really aware that I didn't want that, because I wanted to really feel like I was in this specific country for a reason, and I was experiencing things that specifically Bolivia has to offer and the Bolivian people, and I think SIT does that really perfectly. And in terms of like our classes being in Spanish and meeting so many different interesting and important and kind of successful Bolivians in their field, and the excursions that really take you around to different types of communities. So that's kind of what that set SIT apart for me, just because I had traveled before, and I had wanted the experience of like feeling like I was traveling, I guess, with like a purpose, instead of just going and doing a semester of kind of the same stuff in another place. And I definitely got that with SIT, especially the independent study project also really sets it apart. So that's something that I don't know any of my friends who went abroad, other than friends who did other SIT programs, who did something like that, where you really are given so much freedom and liberty to kind of explore something that is interesting and important to you personally, and then given all of this really good guidance and support academically from the directors and from people that you meet and your advisors and everything, but also just from the other members of the group. And like seeing everybody's presentations at the end for all the ISPs was really just totally awe-inspiring, in terms of seeing what everybody had come up with when they were given not that long, it's about a month, so not a huge amount of time, but enough time to do something significant. So it was really cool to see what everybody had done, and it really kind of drove home the point to me that this was a very kind of special environment that I was in. So yeah, the independent study and kind of just the immersive nature of the programs was what really drew me to SIT, I think.